there, YouTube. It's Evan here. I got a great response from you guys on the Wild Vegetables deck, and I've actually made a couple tweaks to it after testing against this deck, my other OCG deck. This is my Ganveet control deck. It's basically mono dark, but it's splashing light and water. It's a hyperspatial control deck, so it uses a lot of psychic creatures. And I've tried to upload this video before, but I just can't get it into one 15-minute video. So I'm probably just going to cover the deck in this video and the psychic creatures in another. So starting out, this deck is heavily based around discard because it's called Ganveet control, and Ganveet is a psychic creature that flips when your opponent has no cards in hand at the end of their turn. So hand control is a big thing in this deck. There's 3 Ghost Touch, which you guys really should know what this does. I mean, if you play Duel Masters, you know it's better than Spectre Claw in Kaijudo. So 3 of them. And then we've got 3 Ginny the Suicide Doll, which is basically Ghost Touch in creature form. So what you do, it's like Jasmine the Mist Fairy. You play this card, and then you can choose to destroy it, and if you do, then it becomes a Ghost Touch, basically. So there's 3 of her. So basically 6 Ghost Touches. And there's 2 of Ginny's older sister, which is Ginny the Dismantling Puppet. And this is basically a Razorkinder puppet, except it's 4 for 1,000. So your opponent reveals their hand, you choose a card from it and discard it. 2 of her. This is a tech against other control decks. It's called Shadow of Fiction, and it makes all of your opponent's spells cost 1 more for each spell in their graveyard, which, I mean, that can make their Terror Pits cost 12, which is amazing. Now we're getting into some of the removal. We've got 2 Rose Castle. Now Rose Castle is a fortress card, and fortresses, you play them on top of a shield, you pay the mana cost, and they go on top of a shield, and their effect is active as long as that shield is in play. For the most part, they get destroyed as soon as the shield breaks. So, this one does minus 1,000 power to all of your opponent's creatures, and you can stack it, so you have 2 of them, they'll all get minus 2,000, which that's pretty good. So 2 Rose Castles. Only 2 Terror Pits, because there's lots of ways to recycle them in the deck, and they're just not as necessary in the OCG. So, 2 Pits. Here we go, we're getting into the Hyperspatial suite, which it's 3 of each of them, but right now we've got 3 Emperor Holes, and this one hits an opponent's creature for 2,000 power, and then summons a Darkness Psychic creature with a cost of 9 or less. And that is my cat trying to hit my tripod. So, next we've got Revive Hole, Hyperspatial Revive Hole, and this basically lets you pull up a creature from your graveyard and then summon a Darkness creature with a cost of 7 or less, or any number of creatures with a cost of 5 or less, but I only use the Darkness one because all of these Psychic creatures are Darkness in this deck. And the last one is Vice Hole, and Vice Hole I've also got 3 of. It's the 6 mana one, the other ones were 5. This one, your opponent reveals their hand, you choose a spell from it and discard it, and then you summon a Psychic creature with a cost of 10 or less. Here's a little bit of the Light Splash. We've got Bloody Shadow Mystic, Mystic Light Death Knight. It's basically the best Bloody Skeeto, except for the fact that it's multi-civ. It's light darkness, it does everything Bloody Skeeto does, except it has 4,500 power, and you can actually summon it for free. It has Gravity 0, if you've played a spell this turn, you can summon it for free, which is awesome. We've got 1 Falconer Light Fang Ninja, because he's restricted to 1. He has Ninja Strike, and Ninja Strike says, as long as you have, so in his case it's 4, as long as you have 4 or more cards in your mana zone, you may play this Ninja Strike ability as long as you haven't played another Ninja Strike ability in a turn. And a Ninja Strike ability you can play anytime your opponent attacks or blocks. Then you summon this creature for no cost, and at the end of the turn you put this creature back on the bottom of your deck. Now this one says, when you put this creature into the battle zone, choose one of your other creatures and it gains blocker until the end of the turn. So it makes any one of your creatures a blocker out of nowhere, which is a big surprise. 1 of him. And we've got 2 Chief Dabala, which is the blocker variant of Foul Ega. It's 4 for 4,000 blocker, and you get a spell back from your graveyard when you play it. And you can pick them back up with Revive Hole, which makes them even better. The last little bit of light we have is DNA Spark, which is the best Holy Awe. 6 mana, Holy Awe, shield trigger. But if you have 2 or less shields, you add the top card of your deck to your shield zone face down. So 3 of them, they're a lifesaver. Here is an oldie. We got Hide and Seek, which was originally available in the TCG. And if you guys don't remember what it does, it bounces one of your opponent's creatures back to their hand, and then they discard a card at random from their hand. This can become a 4-mana Terror Pit with all the discard in this deck, so it's something to keep in mind. And we've got the Surfers for potential psychic creatures on the other side of the field, or just needing to get rid of blockers, if you're trying to go in for game. There's better ways to do that, but this is good psychic creature removal. Got one Aquan Junior's Delivery. I cut it down from 2 because I just kept hitting water cards for some reason, but this is basically Marinomancer and a spell. 3, look at the top 3, take any light and darkness cards, put them in your hand, the other ones go in your graveyard. And to top it off, we've got 3 streams. So what's exciting about this is I realized I have recorded this in like 6 minutes, so you guys do get to see the psychic creatures, hopefully. So first we got Dias Zeta Temporal Enforcer. This guy has a long ability, but basically what it does, he has Double Breaker. When he attacks, you may choose either 4 cards from your graveyard, 4 cards from your opponent's graveyard, or 4 cards from both graveyards. Put them on the put them back on the bottom of each player's deck, and then for each 4 cards, so if you do both players, they would choose 2. If you only chose one player, they would do 1. For each 4 cards, your opponent either takes a card from their hand or their battle zone and puts it on the bottom of their deck. So every turn, you're going to be starting to remove stuff from the game, and it's quite crazy. This guy flips whenever you've removed 3 of your opponent's creatures in one turn from the battle zone, and he flips into Diablo Zeta, who gives all of your opponent's creatures minus 5,000, all of yours plus 5,000, has Quattro Breaker, and instead of getting destroyed, he would flip back. I've never gotten him to flip, but if he does, it's insane, I would imagine. So, got one of him. We've got one Romanoff Zeta. This is 10 mana, this is what the Vice Hole is for. And he says at the beginning of your turn, put the top card of your deck into your graveyard. He has Double Breaker, and he awakens, so he flips when you have 10 or more spells in your graveyard. And then, so when you have 10 or more, you shuffle all of your graveyard back into your graveyard, and then back into your deck, all of your graveyard into your deck, and then you flip him. He flips, and he becomes Romanoff Zeta, Wicked Demon something or another. And when he attacks, you may put the top 2 cards of your deck into your graveyard and then cast a darkness spell in your graveyard for no cost, then put that spell back on the bottom of your deck, and he has Double Breaker. So this guy can start pumping out pits and hide and seeks and all sorts of stuff. This is the namesake of the deck. We've got Black Ganveet, and there's 2 of them. He costs 7, has 5,000 power, does not have Double Breaker, he's just a single breaker. But when you put him in the battle zone, destroy one of your opponent's tapped creatures, which is great on the swing back. So you kill one of their little guys and then kill their big guy with this. And he flips when your opponent has no cards in hand, so that's why the discard's all there. So when he flips, he says when this creature attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and 1 card in the field and destroys them. So discards and destroys. So he basically is a +2 every time he attacks, and he has Double Breaker. So he's amazing. Then we've got Olzekia, Temporal Demon Lord. He's some protection for the rest of the psychic creatures, only against pits, not any bouncing though. That's the sad part. He has Double Breaker, and if any of your demon commands are destroyed during any player's turn, flip this creature. So he'll flip if someone uses a pit to get rid of one of them, not like a Spiral Gate or a Aqua Surf or anything like that. But when he flips, he's pretty good. When this creature attacks, or when this creature awakens, your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand, and he has Triple Breaker, and he's giant. So there's Olzekia. Then we've got Chevelle, Temporal Demon Spirit. This is an awesome late game card. He really doesn't do anything on the first side, he's just 5 for 4,500, but he awakens when you have 2 angel or demon commands with a cost of 6 or more in the battle zone. So if you have 2 of your big psychic creatures out, he flips at the beginning of your next turn. And when he flips, he's awesome. 12 for 6,500. When your opponent puts a creature into the battle zone, you may put the top card of your deck into your shield zone face down. When your opponent casts a spell, you may destroy one of their shields, or this creature just breaks one of their shields, which is very powerful. And the very last one, sorry I'm trying to get this in under 10 minutes. Very last one, we've got Rumble Lecter, which is kind of a combo piece with Diablo Zeta. Once you start stacking things on the bottom of your deck, he awakens when you can name the bottom thing on the bottom of your deck correctly, and he has Slayer. So then when he flips, when he would leave the battle zone, when this creature would battle, destroy the other creature instead. So he has Slayer, but it's even better. Like, you can beat things that are bigger than you and still live. He has Triple Breaker, and then if he were to die by a pit or something, he would flip back, because he has Release. Sorry about having to go so quick, but that's just it's the nature of YouTube right now, because I'm not a partner or anything. You guys do a thumbs up, share it around, do whatever. I'll be doing an update video on the Wild Veggies deck, and then Chris and I will hopefully be doing a video duel of the 2 decks, so you guys get to see a little bit of OCG action. Alright, see you guys.